So I've had a request to do a video on something that I mentioned very briefly in another video, which was that I had picked up some concept art for a Thunderbirds series that never actually got made. And I actually had to go back in my eBay profile to check when I got this concept art, and it was actually a good 2+ years ago. But I have in front of me here a couple of international rescue figures. This one is obviously the old school original 60s series international rescue style of uniform. This one is the more modern Thunderbirds Argo CGI style of uniform, and you can see he has a lot more sort of bolt-ons to his uniform as standard, including a jet backpack. And, obviously they had a lot more versatility. But this was not the first potential CGI show of Thunderbirds that there was. There was this other one. And this is where this concept art is from. And in 2003, they did a sort of a test pilot of what would have been apparently called Thunderbirds IR, i.e. International Rescue. And it would have been more of a mix of traditional puppetry model work, but also CGI, is my understanding of it. Now, this never actually ended up getting off the ground, as it turns out. No pun intended. But we do have concept art. Now, I can't recall exactly what the auction said about these images, but I believe that they are genuine. They look to me very much like you would do, as you would sort of produce for like a sort of a concept art piece, just to sort of try out different options for the characters. You can see there are different helmets for Scott here. There is wording around this, and I mean, I personally have trouble making it out. Drag chute, so he looks like he has a sort of built-in parachute, if not a jetpack, and some sort of flotation device as well that devices that come out. But you can see he's got more of a sort of bolt-on kind of wrist communicator there, and so on. So I think the intention was to very much to sort of modernise the uniform. Let me show you the bottom half there. You see, it says it's copyright Anderson Burr Pictures Limited. Now, I'm not sure when that dates it to. To me, that sounds... I'm thinking Terrorhawks for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. But I just don't quite know whether or not I've got the right idea in terms of saying it was a 2003 series that this is from, or whether it's actually from something that they were thinking of off the back of Terrorhawks even. Because Terrorhawks was substantially later. And I know that although I do know that I think that the 2003 version was using rod puppets. So puppets that use rods from underneath to control them rather than strings from above. And that does tally somewhat with the way that the Terrorhawks puppets were managed as well. So I don't know. This is the sort of thing that I would be very interested in comments on, because you may well be one of those sorts of people who know far more about this than I do. Now, what I don't have here, which would have helped me immensely, is a picture of Thunderbird 1. Because I do know what Thunderbird 1 looks like, because it was in the pilot episode. I don't really have enough else to go on to say whether or not... And again, this may not have been... If this is just concept, this may well not be the final design that would have been used, because it is what it is. It's a concept. But anyway, that's that one. That's the one of those images that I have. The only other article that I picked up from this auction, and as I say, it was an eBay auction, was this. And as you can see, this is a reimagining of Lady Penelope and Parker, and in the background is Fab 1. Now, this Fab 1 immediately looks very different to this traditional Fab 1. The reason I say that is that whilst it is pink and it does appear to be a Rolls Royce, there is the sort of the flying emblem on it there. you'll see that both of these Fab 1 examples have double wheels at the front. There are always twin wheels at the front of Fab 1 as a matter of tradition. And this Fab 1 only has one wheel. So immediately that's quite a sort of a different take on it compared to others. But this sort of ridge here and the frontage is very similar to the original Fab 1, as you can see. So it's got the ridge at the front there, and obviously the sort of the bird symbol on the top there. So I've forgotten what the official name for it is, but you can see, you know, it's definitely got echoes of the original, and indeed even that the use of white text on a black background is the same as the original. And there's a little bit of sort of background there describing sort of Lady Penelope's hair and eyes and earrings. Earring contains a radio receiver when activated, mini speaker concealed in ear, see below. So it's really, what's frustrating about these is that although they've got this copyright notice on them here, they don't have a year. So I can't be absolutely convinced that they were for 2003. It's a strange thing because the styling does remind me a lot of the original series, but that might be intentional. And yet by the same token, they don't look like they were done using CGI in 2003. They're still more sort of line kind of drawings. So in a sense, I'm confusing myself. I mean, these may just be copies that someone's put onto shiny paper. There's a little sort of reference on the back of each of them. So I don't really know what the origins are. It may be that someone's photocopied these and stuck them onto shiny, glossy laser printer paper. You know, it's possible. I can't say for sure whether or not they are both sort of legitimate. But there's that one on there as well. So I would hope that it's. I mean, the quality of them is such that I would like to think that they are in some way, shape, or form genuine. But it's just frustrating because I cannot date them. I just don't think I can date them. I can't see there's a date against that helmet there on the side. So I'm just trying to see for a moment whether or not I can. Steve Kite, possibly? Does that ring a bell? Do I know Steve Kite? I think he might have once done an image for my SFXB website, actually, of DieX. Is that the guy I'm thinking of? It's interesting, though. If it were him, that would actually make a lot of sense, and it might put it in the 2000s then. But as I say, you know, if you do know anything about the origins of these images, I would be intrigued to understand, because unfortunately this Thunderbirds IR series, it was one that simply did not manage to get traction, and so it wasn't until much later that we got Thunderbirds R Go, which was obviously the most recent CGI reinvention of Thunderbirds. Although in fairness, I say CGI reinvention, I mean it does still have a lot of practical effects in it as well, and I thought they did quite a nice job of blending a kids' TV show of this era with a lot of respect for the original series, which, you know, I guess they didn't have to. You know, they could have done their own take on it, but I do think it was quite a respectful way that they did it. So fair dues to them. So yeah, I say this was done in part as a request, but obviously, you know, I have had these images knocking around for a while, so it's really about time I did something of use with them. So if you do know anything more, let me know, and I hope that the requester is happy to have seen these images now. And I will leave it there for now on this rather dreary afternoon. So do like and subscribe as ever, and I'll see you for the next one. Cheers for now.